Yeah. Good evening, guys. Lovely being back here in the campus. Always a pleasure.
Very good evening, sir. Welcome to IIT Bombay. Thank you for being with us here today. It's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you.
So, before starting the session, let me give you a roadmap of today. We'll be beginning with your journey here at IIT Bombay, followed by a professional experience, and then we have a small informal segment for you. All this is about exploring you and what made Nitesh Tiwari the phenomenal director that he is today.
To begin with, we would like to show you a video to take you down the memory lane.
Okay. Here, I look here. On the stage.
Okay, sir, so we noticed in the video that you were quite active in sports.
Yes.
So tell us something more about this picture and what do you recall on seeing it?
The next one I'll tell you. H3 के against 93 मारे थे मैंने. The one which came after this. So yeah, and it was a very important match. And let me tell you about the sweet rivalry which we used to have. So I actually played very well, and I got out on 93, and I was caught on the boundary. And S3 was not in very good place because we had scored good runs. But the guy who caught me after I was walking back, he came up to me and he said कि तेरे को मालूम है मेरा एक पाँव बाउंड्री के बाहर था जब मैंने तेरा कैच लिया. So this is just to do कीड़ा, you know. So that's how our relationship with S3 was. But yeah, we won comfortably. So
You were quite active in cricket, right?
sorry.
Cricket.
I used to play 4 or 5 sports for my hostel. I used to play cricket. Cricket, I was in INSTI team also. I played for 3 years for IIT and into IIT, yes. Or for my hostel, I was cricket was given. Hockey was to play, basketball, volleyball, and 4 into 100 meters. Yeah.
Quite a sportsman.
I mean, I tried my hand at everything, but I mean, it was just that passion for hostel to do well. But I was not good enough in other sports to qualify even for H4. So for badminton TT, I could not make it to H4 team. But these are the 5 sports I could play for H4.
Playing 5 sports is a big deal.
Yeah, I think in my 3rd year I was Sportsman of the Year also for H4.
Yeah. So you are overall much out like in cultural in sports. So next question is also about cultural. So yeah, this photo. So it is part of an debate club event or anything else?
This is group miming. We used to have. So if you saw my solo one where I was standing with my hands up in the air, that was the solo miming. This was the group miming. Okay, and we used to have this act of these 2 guys are trying to cheat in the exam and the examiner is coming to catch them. So that is the scene which is getting played out here. If you look at the solo one, what happens is normally this was a trend which used to follow here, like if you win something, next year you perform the same act and then you win again because there is nobody else. So and I used to get bored of seeing other guys also doing the same thing. So in my 4th year, I had written my own script for my miming about a guy who puts a chewing gum onto a bus stop and how that chewing gum travels from one passenger to the other, and in the end when he comes back it gets stuck to him also, so that's how I had written that miming piece on my own. So again, so these are the memories of miming and everything.
Okay, sir, so these were some of your college memories. You had performed in your school cultural event. You had did a play named Tapori Mulyas. And the name is quite interesting itself. film. So would you like to tell the audience more about it?
Yes, I mean, now I look back at it, I think, see, us समय, you know, the only objective of doing that was that same thing, like I did that in my fourth year, that let me try and do something different and not keep on doing the same thing. I think without realizing, I think I was doing the same thing in my seventh standard also. That is something I had done in seventh standard. I did not want to do the same old plays which other kids were going to do in their school. So we stumbled upon this idea of doing a Tapori Mughal Azam. At least it looked very different. So Akbar is Don of a place, and Salim is obviously his Uttaradhikari, जो वो भी भाई है मतलब, you know, and he ends up liking a girl, and the lingo was very Tapuri, you know, it was not that typical, you know, Mughal Azam kind of a lingo. So we kind of won also that year, so which was very interesting. For seventh standard kids to do something like that was something I think is very different.
Yeah, it's quite extraordinary.
Yeah.
So do you remember any lines from the play? Like any favorite line?
No, I think thanks to Bollywood, you know, we were exposed to how Bombay language is basically, you know, so it was all about that only, like, क्या कर रेला है, किधर जा रेला है, ए बापू, he talks to Akbar like this, and अरे दिमाग मत खराब करवा, you know, that is also
The Mumbai
kind
police
of-
must be feeling relatable, I guess.
You also told about something like you were waiting for your father's food and you were watching that show for half an hour and all the time. And you
Oh
were
yeah,
like,
yeah. So what happened is my dad was in a transferable job, so every 2-3 years he'll get transferred to some town or the other, and we went to this small town called Ganj Basuda, and it's in MP. It again, you know, like IIT Bombay, it was again one of my life-changing experiences. I stayed for 4 years there. I think every place changes you in a bit. You know, every place has a great contribution in shaping you a little bit. You know, it's only at a later stage in life you realize that, oh, this place meant so much to me. I used to go to get food for my father from the hotel, and I would wait for half an hour for the food to get packed. और वो होटल के ऊपर वीडियो पार्लर था जिसमें लेटेस्ट मूवीज चलती थी, बिकॉज आई बिकेम फ्रेंड्स विद देम, तो एवरी टाइम आधे घंटे में जब खाना पैक होता था पापा के लिए, मैं आधे घंटे मूवी देख लेता था जाके ऊपर. तो ऐसे आधे घंटे करके मैंने बहुत सारी मूवीज देख डाली थी फ्री में. सो that was my falling in love with movies at that point of time. Yeah.
So at 23, right after graduation, you made a decision of becoming a writer at agency Leo Bernard. Tell us more about it and what was in your mind during that time, and what made you transition from hobby to full-time job?
See, one thing which I had decided after passing out was that I would want to be a writer for sure, but I did not know at what stage of my life I would want to be a writer. But somewhere I had decided that I might dive into this for sure. And I started working with TCS, and I had got placed in the campus. And but the writing somewhere never left me, you know. And it kind of started occurring me that if I don't take a chance now, if I cannot risk now, I will become too complacent with the money which I am getting. So now is the time for me to take a risk and apply and see if somebody is willing to take me. Otherwise, I'll never be able to have this courage. And if I don't succeed, I had given myself 1 year. If I don't succeed, I have my degree to fall back upon. You know, एक साल के बाद तो कोई भी ले लेगा. But later on, it might become a problem. So I applied to many agencies. Not many agencies took me seriously. They all said कि no, तुमको कीड़ा है. You know, तुम IIT करने के बाद कौन advertising में आके writer बनता है? So only 2 agencies took me seriously. Out of which one agency gave me a job, not on the basis of the copy test which I gave for them. They gave me job on the basis of a poem which I had written here in IIT for creative writing competition. They said that poem has not left us, so we are offering you a job on the basis of that poem. So that's how I got my job. Yeah, it was a creative writing competition, and the title, you get the title on the spot, you know. So the title which I had got was मैं मेरी बीवी मेरा कुत्ता और मेरा पड़ोसी. And I had written one full poem on this topic, मैं मेरी बीवी मेरा कुत्ता और मेरा पड़ोसी. So
that was quite creative. Well, sir, you said that you took a shot and you decided to follow your heart and follow your passion. But many people nowadays are not really sure about making direction and writing as their profession. So, is this something that you'd like to say to these people? Like, how to exactly listen to your heart?
See, it's a very tough thing to quantify for other people, because this is something which is very subjective, and I don't want to end up giving wrong ideas to you or anything like that. So I don't want to be in a position that, so what I normally do is that I'll tell you what I feel, but I will never tell you that do follow this, because end of the day you guys are smart enough to make a call for yourself in your life, because situations are very different for different people. What I did at that point of time, you can call it little bit of pagalpan, you can call it little bit of foolhardiness, or you can call it extremely calculated decision which I took at that point of time. And I have done such things many times more in my life. It was not just I left my job, a cushioned and well-paying job, and took 1/4 of the salary and became a writer purely for the passion or say stupidity. अभी यही होता है कि आप अगर 99 पे खेल रहे हो और आपने बोला कि मैं 6 मार के 100 पूरा करूँगा, ठीक है, द डिफरेंस इज द रिजल्ट. आपने मारा, बाउंड्री पे कैच हो गए, लोग बोलेंगे बेवकूफ़ था. आपने मारा और 6 चला गया, लोग बोलेंगे क्या डेयरिंग आदमी था. द डिफरेंस इज ऑलवेज गोना बी रिजल्ट. इट्स नेवर द इंटेंशन. No. So all I will say is that do listen to your heart. Life is too short to be doing something which you do not like. That is something which I have always done in my life. I have always taken very calculated decisions in my life, but always have plan B. Always have plan B. What if this does not work? It need not happen with you. Plan A might not always work for you. Please always keep plan B. So when I left my job at TCS, my plan B was my IIT Bombay degree. I knew नहीं हुआ साल भर में advertising में कुछ, I can always get a job somewhere. That was the plan B. When I left, I was the national creative director of Leo Burnett. When I left advertising to become a director, that was a big decision. You are used to getting a fat salary in your bank. It's a very secure job. You are doing very well in your career as a advertising professional, and then you one fine day say enough. और कितना करूँगा एडवर्टाइजिंग में, आई वॉन्ट टू बी डायरेक्टर. आई लेफ्ट, आई वॉज काइंड ऑफ जॉबलेस फॉर 6 months. Then Dangal happened. So this is, sometimes it works in your favor, sometimes it doesn't work in your favor, but that is what I would say.
That was really very insightful. In present times, what do you think, what are some of the misconceptions about your area of expertise, and how do you think that things have changed from your time?
Misconceptions, I'll say, the one most एक एग्जाम्पल मैं आपको बताता हूँ. ये सबसे ज़्यादा मिसकंसेप्शन है, कि when I was looking for a job, when I looking for a house in Bombay, so my broker said कि who was showing me around houses, and he said आप क्या करते हैं. तो मैंने कहा मैं राइटर हूँ. उसने कहा क्या करते हैं आप. मैंने कहा मैं ऐड लिखता हूँ. तो कौन सा ऐड लिखे हो आप उससे करके. तो मैंने उसको एक ऐड बताया टाइड के लिए. मैंने कुछ तो न्यू पिंच वाला एक ऐड बहुत पहले लिखा था उसको करके. तो बोलता अरे ये तो हम भी कर सकते हैं, इसमें कौन सी बड़ी बात है. सो आई थिंक दैट्स द बिगेस्ट मिसकंसेप्शन, दैट लॉट ऑफ पीपल एक्चुअली थिंक दैट it's very easy to be a writer, or it's very easy to be a director. And you guys must make an attempt to at least check on YouTube making of films, how any particular film was made, and you guys will understand the amount of hard work and amount of discipline and amount of dedication which goes into making one film. And trust me, there cannot be any profession in the world which is more ruthless than which I am in. Nobody cares कि मैंने 4 साल लगाए उसको बनाने में. Nobody cares कि इतने टाइम शूट किया. Nobody cares anything. One Friday they will come and they'll say बकवास है. That's how ruthless you are working in. But you have to be open to it, because you get disproportionate love also if you end up creating something which clicks. See, nobody wants to make a bad film. Nobody wants to make a bad product. everyone with their own sensibilities wants to make something which is in their head might work at the box office. But it's very heartbreaking, when one Friday, people just come in. So that's one thing. Misconception is that, there is a lot of things which get thrown at us, which is very unfair. I mean, just because few people are like that, to generalize it for an industry which is actually very well oiled and very well disciplined is something which is harsh, is what I would say. We are very, very hardworking people, and we really, really slog our butts a lot to make one film. Yeah.
Yeah, that Silver Party movie, similar story happened where everyone was against you, like many critics were there, but still you did it, you made it big.
I mean, yeah, I mean, for each project there is a different example. Yeah.
So everyone know about your famous movie Chhichhore, which was shot majorly in IIT Bombay campus. Uh, did you ever think that you would come to your institute to shoot a movie that will touch so many hearts?
Never. I never ever thought that I would be coming to Chhichhore, or I would be coming to IIT Bombay, and actually I'm getting a bit distracted with the talk which is happening here. No, not even in my wildest dream did I think. First of all, I never wanted to be a director. I just wanted to be a writer. I am an accidental director. I became a director by chance. It fell in my lap. And thank God it fell in my lap. It happened because we wrote Chiller Party. Nobody wanted to do Chiller Party. We went to some 7-8 directors, and they all said no. 10 bacche ek kutta. Nobody wanted to make that film. So we ended up making it ourselves. And that is how I got into direction. And not even in my wildest dreams I would have thought that I would be coming back to campus to shoot here. First of all, I didn't even expect that campus will give me permission to shoot here. I never thought that. But I always wanted to make a movie on the hostel life. And I was writing it since 2009. I was accumulating all the events and everything since 2009. But I never had a thread. I was looking for a reason, I mean, if I want to tell you a story, there is a reason why you should be hearing that story. It can't be a random amalgamation of great stuff which happened on a campus. There has to be a purpose. I was looking for that purpose. Why should be people interested in hearing the story of IIT Bombay? And once I found that father-son connect, I think then I knew that this is the movie I want to make.
That gave a great lesson to everyone. Like J and all that result not matter that much.
It doesn't. I've seen many friends of mine who've gone through that depression, and we are the lucky few, who make it. And we also know that there are so many of them who don't make it, and there is a guilt which remains. And I've seen that hurt. I've seen that hurt on many faces. And you would not believe the kind of response which I got from Chhichhore. See, there was a different kind of response of the people who connected with the film, but there's a very different kind of response which I got from other people who said, I finally got a closure on having not made it to IIT, which I thought was a big one. It's not just catering to people who are and I tell you, some very touching moments for me. I normally go and watch the movie with the people in the theater just to understand, कि आपने जो बनाया है वो करेक्ट हो रहा है कि नहीं हो रहा है, कनेक्ट हो रहा है कि नहीं हो रहा लोगों के साथ. कभी कभी गलत टाइम पे भी लोग हंस देते हैं. यू वंडर कि यहाँ तो मैंने जोक क्रैक नहीं किया था, But it's a good learning. It happened a lot in Chiller Party. There were some places where there was supposed to be serious stuff and people were laughing, and I thought maybe I was wrong. But after the movie got over, Chhichhore, there is a mother who came to me with her teenage son. And she said, sir, इसको समझाइए ना, ये बहुत टेंशन लेता है. And I just thought, there is something nice I may have ended up doing with the movie. And you know what? My first draft of Chhichhore, when I wrote, it had lot of galis, by the way. उसमें बहुत माँ बहन की बहुत गालियाँ थी. Hostel life, and how can you have a hostel life wali film without having any MCBC? It's like it's not possible. And when I finally sat and read the draft, and I realized कि अगर मैं ये सब रखता हूँ तो फिल्म को A सर्टिफिकेट मिलेगा. हमारा सेंसर बोर्ड इतना उदार नहीं है. वैसे भी काफ़ी काट दिए थे बेचारों ने हमारे सीन्स. आई कैन टेल यू some stuff which we had to remove. तेरे पिछवाड़े में झंडा गाड़ दूंगा. They removed it, you know. They said कि नहीं, this is very graphic. I said लेकिन मैं गाली नहीं यूज़ करूँ, मैं पिछवाड़ा बोल रहा हूँ. No. Sentence is very graphic. पिछवाड़े में झंडा गाड़ दूंगा, you know. तो ठीक है यार, वो लाइन मैंने हटा दी वहाँ से, you know. अच्छा हुआ गाली नहीं रखी, नहीं तो आधी फिल्म कट जाती मेरी. So but I realized कि अगर फिल्म को A सर्टिफिकेट मिलता है, there are a lot of kids from the age up to 17 who will not get to watch this film. And it's gonna be such a big disservice for the film, for the product, which even can't talk to these guys who are so vulnerable. So हमने सारी गालियाँ निकाल दी same screenplay में, so we didn't keep it. Yeah.
Most of us had watched the movie before coming to IIT, so I got it. So, sir, you said that the portraying the father-son relationship was your prime motive to, finally shoot Chhichhore. And you did it there at IIT campus.
Yeah.
So how was the experience of coming back to your own institute?
I keep on coming back to campus, time and again.
Shooting
But to come here and shoot, I think it was great, This is the Daman trip. That's me in the chashma. Yeah. I had got a nickname Tapori in my third year because I used to keep long hair. So you can see Bade Mithun Chakravarti types. So now coming back to campus, obviously, it's like what nostalgia, it's crazy. And shooting in the room, I think the biggest nostalgia was reliving the moments which we rewrote. And trust me, some of the stuff which is there in Chhichhore, not some of the stuff, a lot of campus stuff is actually true. Huh? I can't write that, I'm not that creative. वो जो बेवड़ा को ट्रेन में गाली पड़ती है, that actually happened with Hemant Deshpande, who was Beoda in H4. He's a prof in UCLA today, by the way. So, but he was literally going to Nagpur in summer vacation और सामने वो बच्चे को प्यास लगी थी और वो genuinely पानी की बोतल में वोडका पी रहा था और उसको जो मराठी में गालियाँ पड़ी थी, बहुत गालियाँ पड़ी थी तो but yeah, I mean recreating the scenes, recreating GC. I was very involved in GC, both cult and sports. So recreating those moments was very nostalgic. In fact, you guys saw one photograph of Borkar in green vest running with his hands up. If you can see, I am behind running. That was the GC, that was the race which won us GC that year. And it was very close. He was literally very behind. PC था S3 का, उससे बहुत पीछे था. And our hearts were in our mouth because GC के 20 पॉइंट होते हैं. अभी पता नहीं कितने होते हैं. उस समय GC के 20 पॉइंट होते थे. And that would have really got us the GC. It was a class race. I'll never forget it in my life. Yeah. So it was really, really nostalgic. And I'm really grateful that I got permission to shoot here. Really grateful.
Spot anyone anyone here, like any character from movie?
Chhichhore?
Yeah.
See, Borkar was actually not direct. See, all the characters in Chhichhore are a mixture of lot of things, They were not the only ones who did that. So Borkar is the guy who ran that race, which Derek runs in the film. Derek was a mixture of Derek and Dubey, those senior थे हमारे. I can name them all. Okay, this guy is Ravi. His nickname was Havas in the hostel, and that event, the incident of when Sexa's father comes and asks him, तुझे सेक्सा क्यों बुलाते हैं? क्योंकि मैं बहुत सेक्सी दिखता हूँ. वो एक्चुअली इसके साथ हुआ था, हवस के साथ हुआ था. His father came to hostel and he said कि तेरे को हवस क्यों बुलाते हैं? And he said कि he was that spontaneous on the spot. He said कि नहीं, वो एक मेरा सीनियर है, हरी वामन शिंदे, तो मैं उसके जैसा दिखता हूँ, तो मेरे को वो उसका शॉर्ट फॉर्म हवस है, तो मेरे को हवस बुलाते हैं. That was, well, obviously he was called Havas for obvious reason, so it's a different thing. And there was Havas and there was Havas ka papita, दो थे. Devanji I am missing. The guy who was going as an invigilator on the miming thing, group miming, that was Havas ka papita, Devanji. And sorry, you have to be in boys hostel to understand. It's a boy hostel thing. And yeah, in Chhichhore, these were the two guys I can think of. And that's Prashant. And I'll tell you how names get kept. So how it's crazy, you know. I mean, I really found it very amusing. In fact, in Chiller Party, I had used this. This is life ka experiences which come to you, which is in Chiller Party, every kid has a unique name. You know, एक का नाम encyclopedia, एक का नाम जांगिया, एक का नाम second hand है because of the traits which that was all came from IIT Bombay. So this guy was called, his name was Prashant, but his nickname was Pros basically, and his brother came and joined a year later, and his name was Pimp. So that's how the names get kept. You know, I can tell you all the guys. That's Bada Pet, that's Sexy Bhushan, that's Borkar, that's Gucci. Gucci because he was wearing a Gucci T-shirt, and senior said to बहुत रही से भाई, तो उसका नाम Gucci हो गया. Nagnur was called Magnur because he wanted department change, and he got the department change from Meta to Mechanical. And Bhais Ki Tang is Naresh Kothari. He was from Rajasthan. Havas. Bada Pet, Venki. Okay, Venki was called Venki. Yeah. Okay.
So was there any character in Chhichhore that was inspired from you?
No, I was the director. I was just the. A lot of people have asked me this, but no one was, me. And a lot of people asked me, ki, were you Sushant's character? And I said, no, I was not. You know, it's just that Sushant had copied my body language to portray. So, you know, so if you look Sushant, and a lot of people have told me this, which I asked him later on. He said, I've done that. You know, I've copied your body language. So I have this habit. You know, अभी तो मैं थोड़ा conscious हूँ तो थोड़ा formally बैठा हूँ. लेकिन friends के साथ मैं normally ऐसे बैठता हूँ. You know, I talk like this. And if you look at older Sushant in the film, he's copied this body language of mine a lot. The mellowness, the mannerisms, and everything he copied a lot. But no character was mine. Or by the way, I just want to clarify, S3 वाले इतने खराब भी नहीं थे. They were darlings, you know, they were sweethearts, you know. So, but अभी हम लोग movie बना रहे हैं यार, you know, we have to make a movie, so we have to villainize someone, you know. It's like you have to do that. Ragi is a very good friend of mine, by the way. So.
सर एक और क्वेश्चन है, अगर आप अन्नी नहीं थे, बट फिर भी अगर आपको अन्नी माने, तो आपको माया थी या फिर आप सेक्सा बन के खुश थे?
I'll tell you what, you know, all of us go through all the characters in Chhichhore. I'll tell you, by the time you reach 4th year, you know, first year all of us are mummy, you know, you all miss your home, we behave like mummy, you know. Second year onwards सब में थोड़ा sex आ जाता है, you know. Then बेवड़ा आ जाता है, acid आ जाता है. Third year onwards जब grades मालूम पड़ने लगते हैं ना कि यार इस बार भी यार 6.3 आया है, you know, तो वो फिर आपके अंदर का एसिड जागता है ना कि सिस्टम खराब है, बेकार है, और उसने मेरे साथ आरजी कर दी. ऑल दोस थिंग्स स्टार्ट हैपनिंग. तो आपके अंदर का एसिड जाग जाता है, यू नो. फिर धीरे धीरे डायरेक्ट, यू नो, आपको अन्नी फिक्शनल कैरेक्टर था भाई, सीरियसली, आई एम नॉट किडिंग, यू नो. I don't want to get there. Maya was my batchmate. Yeah. Maya was my batchmate. Derek was my senior. Sexa was my senior. Bevda was my batchmate. Mummy was my junior. Anni is a fictional character. I keep on repeating. So
sir, GC was a major part of the movie, and you must be well aware about the championship. So, what are your fondest memories related to one of the most hyped phase of an IIT's college life?
Fondest memories from GC or in general?
From GC.
Oh, GC, far too many memories. Too many memories. You know, winning the GC, of course, the biggest high. You know, in our 4 years, we won GC twice, which I think is 50% strike rate, not bad. To be able to contribute in hostel's victory is another high. But I'll tell you, the one standout moment for me was in my first year. We had a final, and I made 73 runs and we won. And I think that for a freshie to have contributed in hostel winning GC, in our first year we had won. जीसी, और उसके बाद हम लोगों ने कॉन्वोकेशन हॉल में इंटरवल में, मूवी के इंटरवल में जाके जो जीता वही सिकंदर के गाने पे डांस किया था, with everybody present there. I think that those some of those standout moments, Borkar winning that race, 4 into 400. Even there was a sudden death against H8 in hockey, where their goalkeeper, our goalkeeper had taken the shot in, like H8 was leading with 1-0, and nobody, it was sudden death, so and nobody was willing to step out and take the penalty, because if you miss you lose. And I was sent to take that penalty, and hockey penalty is not that easy. Football penalty थोड़ा easy होता है, hockey आपको इतना अच्छा आता नहीं है. And the ball went in somehow. And after we won that sudden death, I remember some of the juniors from my hostel coming and hugging me and lifting me and screaming, "To God hai, to God hai." So, yeah, but great memories of GC and great memories of PAF. Outstanding memories of PAF and one act plays here on this stage, all the impromptu and all the. He's sitting there, I can't give Kali, okay. But lot of crazy stuff which we have done on this stage and on convocation stage. Too many fond memories.
So, sir, speaking in the Insta lingo, what do you think? Insta ka baap kaun?
अभी बेचारा H4 तो टूट गया है यार, अभी मैं क्या बोलूँगा यार, बट मुझसे पूछोगे तो मैं H4 ही बोलूँगा. Every hostel will say their name. It's like that. I'll tell you, and I'll tell you, H10 used to, and that weightlifting thing, by the way, actually happened. There was a girl from H10, she actually came, and we had told this guy कि भाई आज तू जीता नहीं तो तेरी इज्जत खराब हो जाएगी, and he won. But H10, I have to give a lot of credit to the girls from Hostel 10 who would come and compete very enthusiastically in the GC, even though they knew that they didn't stand a chance or anything like that. In fact, H4 and H10 had a cricket match, and I'll tell you one very funny story about it. So H4 and H10 का फर्स्ट मैच हमारा GC का ड्रॉ आया, H4 का मैच फंसा H10 के साथ. अभी मैं क्रिकेट कैप्टन थी हॉस्टल का, मेरे पास फुटबॉल टीम से रिक्वेस्ट आ रहा है, मेरे पास हॉकी टीम से रिक्वेस्ट आ रहा है कि भाई क्रिकेट टीम में ले ले. H10 की लड़कियों के साथ मैच खेलने को कब से मिलेगा, तो मेरे को मिल्क शेक्स के ऑफर आ रहे हैं यार, मतलब कि यार भाई 5 मिल्क शेक ले ले यार, भाई मेरे को एक्स्ट्रा बना ले, पानी वाला बना ले. So I did one thing, I actually got 4 good players in the team and 7 players I took from the other team bribing के साथ. तो मैंने कहा 4 लोग मिलके तो हम लोग जीत जाएंगे H10 के अगेंस्ट. बेसिकली H10 के साथ मैच हुआ, हम लोग टॉस जीते, तो लड़कियां रिक्वेस्ट कर रही कि पहले हमको बैटिंग करनी दो, तुम लोग 30 ओवर में बहुत मारोगे बेसिकली, तो हम लोग को प्लीज़ पहले बैटिंग करने दो. तो हमने उनको पहले बैटिंग करने दी, वो लोग और हम लोग सब ऐसा 2 कदम से. तो मैंने एक फोटो किया था, ओपनिंग में द गर्ल केम एंड शी सेड आई यूज्ड टू ओपन द बॉलिंग, है ना, विद I took 25 कदम का रन अप लिया मैंने, and I'm standing and thinking, and that girl is like कि no, it's like don't bowl like this. Then we bowled with 2 steps and they played, they made some 14 runs, which was good. Which seriously, I mean, I'm saying it's the jigra, of the H10 girls. अभी 14 रन हो गए, अभी H4 की बैटिंग की बारी है, यहाँ पे लड़ाई चल रही है कि कौन पहले जाएगा ओपनिंग पे. लिटरली they were 4 guys ready with pads. They were saying कि भाई हम जाएंगे ओपनिंग पे, एंड फिर डिसाइड हुआ कि भाई यहाँ पे रेस होगी, जो 2 लोग सबसे पहले पिच पे पहुँच गए वो लोग ओपनर्स रहेंगे, क्योंकि ये डिसाइड नहीं कर सकते. तो रेस हुई 4 लोगों में. ऑफकोर्स जो बोरकर जो 4 into 100 का स्टार्ट है हमारा, वो भाग के पहुंच गया वहाँ पे अपना पहले, और 2 लोग ओपनिंग पे गए. इसका नसीब देखो इतना खराब था, वो आउट भी हो गया. He was tarnished for life. अरे तू तो H10 के अगेंस्ट आउट हो गया यार. So that's how much fun it was. But yeah, I mean, if I start digging my memories, the GC memories are insane. I'll tell you one more thing, another memory which is coming, and this is how competitive we were. I don't remember, I think this was my 3rd year, and we had some very cool guys who used to play chess. And तो सिचुएशन ऐसी हो गई थी, इक्वेशन ऐसी हो गई थी कि हमारा H8 के साथ मैच था और H8 H3 को टक्कर दे रहा था. हम तो चेस में, हम लोग कंपटीशन में थे ही नहीं, हम लोग चेस में हम लोग अगर मतलब वो मैच जीत भी जाते तो हम लोग को चेस में कुछ मिलना नहीं था, और H8 जीत जाता ना तो H3 की लग जाती क्योंकि H8 फर्स्ट आ जाता और H3 को सिल्वर मिलता। तो हमारे यहाँ स्ट्रैटेजी में डिसाइड किया गया था कि भाई अपन हार जाएंगे H8 के साथ जाके, और हमारा अच्छा खिलाड़ी खेलता था, शांतनु करके था या मोइनुद्दीन करके कोई तो था, वी हैड अ गुड गाय प्लेइंग। तो उसको बोला कि भाई ये मैच हारना है अपने को ताकि H8 जीत जाए और H3 की लग जाएगी। अभी मोइनुद्दीन या शांतनु जो भी था उसने बोला कि भाई मैं आई विल नॉट मेक इट ऑब्वियस, आई विल गो एंड प्ले सम गुड मूव्स एंड आफ्टर दैट आई विल स्टार्ट लूजिंग बेसिकली। अभी वो चेस खेलना चालू किया उसने 10-15 अच्छे मूव खेल दिए वहाँ पे बैठे बैठे। तो आफ्टर सम टाइम H8 वाले ने बोला कि उसने ऑफर किया ड्रॉ तो H8 guy said कि okay I'm going for a draw. So this guy thought for a moment and then he looked at him and says no, I resign. And nobody knew what happened, because सामने वाले ने draw offer किया and he said कि no, I resign, and he left, and I said what the hell, and SC guys gave us a lot of गाली, अरे rigged है match, rigged है, तो कहते हैं sorry dude, everything is fair in GC, it's okay. But yeah.
Can you have the next photo, please?
This was a Daman trip. Daman गए थे हम लोग, and you can see my seniors are also there, my juniors are also there, and we are also there.
So, audience, can you tell Nitesh Tiwari here?
Okay, I'll tell you one thing, why the significance of this photograph. Usually ना हमारे हॉस्टल में कल्ट का सीन थोड़ा ठंडा रहता था, because you will find enough public for sports, enough N2, but कल्ट के लिए ना N2 इतना नहीं होता था। तो when I became cult co in my 3rd year of the hostel, I had decided कि हम लोग थोड़ा कुछ इवेंट्स करेंगे where we will create excitement for the people, बंदों को थोड़ा। तो I had done some एक ad mad का कुछ तो competition किया था, where of course the product was condom, and the guys were supposed to come up with witty scripts, and there was a publicity points also, and they had to perform the skits on the stage in the hostel lounge basically. It created so much. I have never seen my hostel full of so many posters. It was like and crazy names. उस समय Lorena Bobbitt का कुछ तो भी हुआ था. So one condom company was called Bobbitt and Dickens Gum. So like that. One was Bayrock Thok. So that's how the brand names were given. But it went through the roof. And there was so much excitement in the hostel, and I was so happy that. That I managed to imbibe that excitement in the hostel. So once later on, one act plays and all started happening, I had seniors coming and saying कि मैं participate करना चाहता हूँ. I was very happy. So this is one such thing which had happened. You can see the expression on his face, and I don't need to tell you anything. So this is me laughing. Okay, so yeah.
Okay, so we talked a lot about your college life, or as one might say, the good old days. Now let's move on to your professional experience. So 2 people working at an ad company left it to make a movie with no stars, as you said, like only 10 kids and a dog. It became a huge hit and won 3 national awards.
Yeah.
So what went behind it?
Chiller Party was purely an outcome of 2 big things. It was an outcome of self-belief. It was an outcome of passion. I think these two things are extremely important, no matter which field you are in. We believed in Chiller Party, and we were very passionate about it. And we knew there is something called as gut feeling. When you write a screenplay, sometimes आपको gut feeling खराब भी हो जाता है, but that's okay. But we had a very strong feeling that Chiller Party is something which is very nice. And when all the directors said no, they don't want to do it, my co-writer Vikas came to me and he asked me that, would you want to direct it? And I said, no dude, I'm very happy in my cushion job, I'm doing well. मैं क्यों मतलब और खराब फिल्म बनाऊँ तो गाली खाओ लोगों की यार, वो सब अपने को चाहिए नहीं. So I said no for 4 months, and then he came and he said कि यार तेरे को अगर सपोर्ट चाहिए ना, तो मैं भी अपना जॉब से सबैटिकल लेके दोनों साथ में एक दूसरे का हाथ पकड़ के बना लेते हैं चिल्लर पार्टी करके। तो मैंने सोच रहा था कि यार व्हाट डू आई हैव टू लूज, व्हाई एम आई सो स्केयर्ड, आई हैव डन इट वंस इन लाइफ, दैट यू शुड नॉट बी स्केयर्ड, समटाइम्स योर ओन डिसीजंस कम टू बैक यू इन लाइफ। आई सेड व्हाट इज द वर्स्ट पॉसिबल केस, खराब बनेगी, लोग गाली देंगे, प्लान भी तो है ही, अपना जॉब एडवर्टाइजिंग में बढ़िया चल रहा है, व्हाई। So I took 5 months sabbatical. My bosses were very supportive. They said, go for 5 months, come back, don't leave. I went, we shot Chiller Party and came back. It turned out to be a good film. National awards were completely surprised. I mean, I don't work for awards as a policy. Is my way. I always make films for my audience. Awards are icing on the cake. They. So I told my kids also, all the kids who work with me in advertising also, in feature films also, I said award नहीं मिले तो ज़्यादा दुखी नहीं होने का, मिले तो ज़्यादा खुश नहीं होने का. Yeah, all 10 kids got national award for best child actor. We got best children's film, and very gratifying for me is best original screenplay. So it was like something. And my dad was very unhappy with me when I shifted from TCS to advertising. Of course, I was in his place, I would have been very unhappy. कौन ये चुतिया करता है भाई? IIT करने के बाद he was telling me the same thing. तुमको यार फिर यही करना था तो तुमने IIT से BTech क्यों किया? He could not justify in his head, BTech in advertising. And he came for the national award ceremony, and then he told me this was meant to happen. I said yes, this was meant to happen. So he came around slowly, which was fine, but yeah. तो लोग में से कोई ऐसा सोच रहा है ना, सोच लेना डैड्स के बारे में और मॉम्स के बारे में, मैं बता रहा हूँ, they will go berserk, trust me. Yeah.
So the next question is, every director has their own individuality and it reflects in their movies. How do you bring your own creative ideas to the big screen? Your style.
I see there are two different creative people in me. One is the writer in me, and one is the director in me. And the writer in me mostly borrows from the life I have observed, mostly, and sometimes the experience of having written so many stories to get a graph going for it. So that's the way I work as a writer. So I will borrow characters from the life which I have lived. Like Bareli Ki Barfi, when we wrote, it's directed by my wife, not it's written by me. So Bitti Mishra is actually my nani's name. So it's like that's how I borrow. In Bhutnath Returns, there's Sanjay Mishra's character is called Gabdi. I can't write Gabdi. Gabdi was my father's friend in ITRC. So I borrow these things from real life, and I try to. It becomes easy for you to flesh out those characters. You can actually, while writing only, if you can start seeing. And I'll tell you, how much detail which we put. If you guys have seen Dangal, say for example, and there is an opening scene where Amir Khan is watching, and Vivan Bhatera's character comes and stands next to him, and he says कि भाई साहब अगर मुंह चलाने से मेडल जीते जाते ना तो आप तो कब का गोल्ड जीत चुके होते. And he says नया है कि, and he says, and then they get into the fight. Throughout the film, you don't get to know the name of the character. But before we started writing his dialogues, we said we need to know the name of this guy. You may not know about this guy in the film, but we as writers need to know because his name is going to define his attitude. So we brainstormed for 15-20 minutes and we called him Harkinder Singh Bullar. And Harkinder Singh Bullar जब नाम आया तो हमको लगा कि इसके मुंह से क्या डायलॉग्स निकलेंगे. तो फिर वो आया नया है के और ना नया है कि भाई साहब मुंह चलाने से कुश्ती जीती जाती है ना, तो अखाड़े की जरूरत है. All those things came from him. So that somewhere you need a lot of clarity. So I think I got a lot of clarity. And my clarity comes from the analytical side of it, which I got from IIT Bombay. You do tend to get analytical. यार मैंने इंजीनियरिंग करोगे इतना तो बेसिक होना चाहिए कि थोड़ा लॉजिक सही होना चाहिए, थोड़ा एनालिटिकल साइड थोड़ा आपका स्ट्रांग हो जाता है. So I actually try to put lot of emphasis on logic in my scripts. ऐसा नहीं randomly कि 25 माले से कूद गए हड्डी भी नहीं टूटी. वो सब चीज़ें नहीं. It doesn't work in my films. There has to be logic basically. So I am a sucker for logic. I think that's how it is. And direction is all about meticulousness. see, if I get into detail, it's gonna be a very long explanation. But director in me actually, and I operate on a very single philosophy. I'm not trying to show off as a director that look at me how good my technical skills are. No, all I do as a director is I try to do justice to the substance which is given to me. I don't let my style take over substance. You will see a lot of directors who make very snazzy and a lot of razzmatazz kind of films, but that is style taking over the substance. If you've got a substance, your style should do justice to the substance. Then I try to, as I said, I try to cater to my audience. Their comprehension, their likability is something which is very important for me. So I'll just give you an example. Again, I'll go back to Dangal. And again, I'll go back to Chhichhore also, just to tell you how I think as a director. There is a scene in Dangal where Mahavir Singh Fogart is teaching wrestling to the girls, how the wrestling happens on mat, on the terrace, mattress डाल के वो सिखा रहा है, बोलता है ये करेगी तो इतना पॉइंट मिलेगा, ये करेगी तो इतना पॉइंट मिलेगा. वो सीन की कोई ज़रूरत नहीं थी आपको फिल्म में. There was no need. Technically speaking, if you remove that scene, it doesn't take away much from the storytelling. But the reason why that scene is there is, and now this is how much you think. You are writing as a writer saying that people do not understand wrestling. They will feel rewarded if they understand wrestling, because there is a lot of wrestling which is going to happen post that. So that was us as creators trying to educate the audience, as Mahavir Singh educates his daughters, that this is what happens. So their likability for wrestling becomes nicer. And these are the small things. अगर आप दंगल के credit titles भी देखेंगे, there was no need for those credit titles. All glorious, glamour shots of पहलवान shot on phantom in slow motion. दूध छन रहा है, मालिश हो रही है, लंगोटे सूख रहे हैं, कोई रस्सी climb कर रहा है. Because when we were writing, we knew that not many people in the country are going to be interested in wrestling. You are writing on a subject which is not have so much of traction. That was our way of making people like wrestling before the film starts, so that they at least have a positive disposition towards the wrestling as a sport. क्योंकि फिल्म में बहुत wrestling होने वाली थी. So that was one, so that I keep my audience, I have to handhold them, I have to make them like stuff. Like just simple, कि as a director you can say that कि मैं कितना perfectionist हूँ. Commonwealth में जो real clock था, आपका जो timer होता है, that timer used to go from 0 to 2 minutes. Each round was of 2 minutes, and it would go from 0 to 2. In the film, it goes from 2 to 0. If you see. Now, if I wanted, it is so easy to do that, to make it go from 0 to 2. Na kaun si badi baat hai, But I said no. I do not want. I have a very crucial moment happening there. I do not want people to think of something else. I want people to know this is what is happening exactly. तो अगर मेरा timer 145 से 146 पे गया, तो दर्शक लोग क्या सोचेंगे, एक राउंड होता है 2 मिनट का, 146 मतलब 14 सेकंड बाकी है. वो मोमेंट निकल गया, 14 से 13 पे गया, उनको मालूम है 13 सेकंड बाकी है. तो इट्स नथिंग मोर यू नीड टू थिंक, सो दोज आर द थिंग्स आई डू नॉर्मली, नॉट टू just show it, look at me, I'm so perfectionist, so those are the small things.
Thinking about the audience.
Yes.
So that was many minor videos that you shared. You said that you basically get inspired from real life characters and try to put them in your movies. So I wasn't there any tapori in Chhichhore?
They all were tapori, I think so. There was nothing. See, the thing is, I'll tell you. The reason why I didn't go for very niche characters for Chhichhore, because IIT you can find so many characters, I chose the least common denominator, people who will cut across the entire spectrum of the country. IIT is मतलब कमाल के nomenclature होते हैं, but वो बहुत internal joke हो जाएगा, सिर्फ IITians appreciate कर पाएंगे. You want a film to become mass, you want it to reach out, so you have to actually take care of. I can't have somebody called Puke. There was a guy who was called Puke in H2 because he used to laugh like this, like this, So he was called Puke, because it looked like always he was puking. One guy was called 10.5. वो उसका हेड ऐसा होता था, हेड ऐसा होता था और ऐसा, तो ऐसा लगता था कि 10.5 बन रहा है, तो like this. But these are very internal jokes, very few people, few thousand people will be able to appreciate those jokes. While every college has a Bevda, every college has a sexa. Every college has Maya, Anni, Acid, Mum. So so you have to write those kind of things. So you have to actually take the characters which will cut across everyone rather than becoming only restricted to IIT.
So the MBBC just been over. So we now have many writers, directors, and actors, aspiring actors, who are on us, who want to improve their skills. So what advice would you give to them to grow?
To the writers, anybody who wants to be a writer, two, three key things I would say. Most importantly, number one, read a lot. Two, travel a lot, observe a lot. Three, and most important thing is never be in love with what you write. Please learn to look at your own work very, very critically. I have seen so many kids who cannot get out of what they've written. सबको अपना बच्चा सबको प्यारा रहता है ना वही तक. But that is not the case. It's जरूरी नहीं कि आपने जो लिखा हो वो अच्छा हो. So don't fall into that trap of always being in love with what you've written. Please take honest opinions. Learn to appreciate honest feedback. So keep वो बोलते ना निंदक नियरे रखिए. Have a bunch of friends who will give you a very critical and honest feedback. I still do that. Every time my movie is ready, I call all the people who are going to be extremely blunt to me for them to come and watch, so that I get a very honest feedback. And they don't mean bad. They are not going to rip it apart just for the sake of ripping it apart. They will give you a very honest feedback. So never underestimate the importance of great critics in your life who you can trust. And please try to write different is what I would say. I have always tried to write different. By different, I do not mean not relevant. The beauty of creativity is unexpectedness combined with relevance. You have to be unexpected, you have to be relevant. If you don't have both, you might not have a great idea. So that's the thing. That's for the writers. For the directors, again, learn a lot. If you can do a course, nothing like it, because it's a very technical field. I could never do a course in direction, but I'm a एकलव्य बोलते ना, एकलव्य तो दूर दूर से थैंकफुली किसी ने अंगूठा नहीं लिया, बट स्टिल मैंने काफ़ी साल ऑब्जर्व करके डायरेक्टर बना. I was in advertising for 15-16 years. That's a lot of time to become a director. If you do a course, you may end up becoming a director much sooner. So if you really want to be a director, there are a lot of short-term courses also. सबको जाके ऐसा AFI में 3 साल का कोर्स 2 करोड़ रुपए देके करने की ज़रूरत नहीं है. There are a lot of small courses which you can do. There is enough material on YouTube today. Enough material on YouTube where you can learn from. Every movie has a making. मेरे टाइम पे जब मैं कंगाल था, उस समय भी मैं 800 रुपये के ओरिजिनल DVD खरीदता था, क्योंकि ओरिजिनल DVDs में ही मूवी खत्म होने के बाद डायरेक्टर की कमेंट्री होती थी. वो जो पायरेटेड होते थे 100 रुपये वाले, उसमें नहीं होती थी क्योंकि उनका स्पेस कम होता था. दे कुड नॉट एकोमोडेट डायरेक्टर का कमेंट्री. I used to spend so much of money, कंगाल हो जाता था मैं, but I used to love doing that because that was the only way I could hear why Manoj Night Shyamalan made Sixth Sense the way he made, why Kubrick made Shining the way he made. So it was like that, you can actually understand and get into director's mind. And this is when I was not even interested in becoming a director. I was only interested in knowing what they were doing. So there is never a dearth of stuff which is there. और एक और इम्पॉर्टेंट चीज़ है जो मैं करता था, विच यू गाइज शुड ऑल्सो डू इफ यू रियली वॉन्ट टू बी अ डायरेक्टर, इज अंडरस्टैंड हाउ अदर डायरेक्टर्स वर्क. सो लाइक देर आर सम मूवीज विच यू मे नॉट हैव वॉच्ड, उनके स्क्रीन प्ले नेट पे अवेलेबल है. आप उनका स्क्रीन प्ले जाके पढ़िए, अपने दिमाग में सोचिए इसको मैं कैसे बनाता, और फिर वो मूवी देखिए किसी और ने कैसे बनाई है. ट्रस्ट मी, इट्स अ रेवलेशन. जो आपके दिमाग में चलता है कोई और बना देता है, एंड यू स्टार्ट रियलाइजिंग अच्छा इसको ऐसे भी कर सकते थे, ओह ये ऐसे आया, ओह दिस आई थॉट इन माई. इट्स लाइक रीडिंग, एवरीवन रीड्स अ बुक. आप बुक पढ़ोगे, सेम बुक मैं पढ़ूंगा, आपके दिमाग में जो विजुअल्स आएंगे वो अलग होंगे, मेरे दिमाग में जो विजुअल्स आएंगे वो अलग होंगे. एग्जैक्टली आप जो बनाओगे वो अलग बनाओगे, मैं जो बनाऊंगा वो अलग बनाऊंगा. दिस इज लर्निंग फॉर यू एज अ राइटर, एज अ डायरेक्टर, टू अंडरस्टैंड कि वो सामने वाले ने ऐसा बनाया. सो आई थिंक दोज आर द थिंग्स वी शुड कीप इन माइंड.
Thank you for the tips. Can you have the next picture, please? So, so you seem to be an Amitabh Bachchan fan. Having worked with him in Bhutnath Returns, you must be having some funny behind the screen memories, right? So, would you like to share some of them with us?
Yeah, well, you can see the smile on my face there. And I actually wrote a note for his 80th birthday this time. I had used the same picture. I tried to convince people that I actually clicked the photograph with him with this photograph. मैंने बहुत कोशिश करी बोलने के लिए कि असली बच्चन के साथ खींचा, लेकिन ज़्यादा लोग माने नहीं. It didn't look that convincing, but I have showed this photograph to him also. He was smiling. So Bachchan sir, I think he's obviously a legend. You know, all of us have grown loving him, and my most cherished memories with him are, you know, when you see your phone ringing and it reads Mr. Bachchan. You know, he just calls to ask you how you're doing in COVID times and stuff like that. So you feel good that you have a relationship where he cares for you also. He would send masks to me saying that these are the better masks, do not wear these kind of masks, you know, take care of yourself and stuff like that. So I think that's something which is very precious. Work is fine, you know, I've worked a lot with him on KBC. All the KBC campaigns I've done with him for last 11 years. Extremely memorable. I'll tell you what, you know, my relatives, मैं IIT में select हुआ, they were happy. मैंने अमिताभ बच्चन के साथ काम किया, they were thrilled. So that is how much Amitabh Bachchan means to our family, you know. So UP के लोग मतलब तो obviously, you know, UP MP के लोग और अमिताभ बच्चन. So my level went up. ना IIT में जाने का level ऐसा नहीं गया था family में ना, तो थोड़ा ऊपर चला गया, बच्चन के साथ काम किया, you know. So like, amazing guy, you know, too much to learn from him. It still makes you feel like कि इतनी energy कहाँ से आती है, you know. He just, I mean, you feel tired, he doesn't feel tired. It doesn't seem like he feels tired. So it's crazy.
Background story, I'm from UP as well.
Huh?
I'm from UP as well.
Oh, okay. I was born in Kanpur. Yeah, so that's some UP background for me.
So like any funny behind the screen memories, like while shooting all the actors, like you take a shot, maybe the shot is perfect. So after that, I heard that you do a fun shot as well.
Yeah, not with Mr. Bachchan, but with Amir and Sushant and everyone else, yes, one for fun, yes.
So why not with Mr. Bachchan?
I think I had not developed that till then, but I do that with him on KBC now. But I don't tell him one for fun, I tell him one for safety. बच्चन सर को बोलूँगा वन फॉर वन इनसे गेट आउट ऑफ इट. तो तेरे फन के लिए मैं नहीं बैठा हूँ यहाँ पे. बट आई टेल यू माई रीजन फॉर डूइंग वन फॉर फन इज, you know, I don't know, I feel that, you know, once an actor gets to know that the director has got his shot, there is a lot of freedom which happens, you know, कि चलो relief आ गया, you know, कि director has got his shot. And then when you tell कि I want to do one for fun, for all you know, he may do something which you are not expecting, which you have not briefed. Ab tak to you've got everything on brief. So this is X factor I look for. If somebody can give me that X factor on one for fun. And in Chhichhore, these guys got to know कि one उनको take मिल गया. They never gave me any good take on one for fun. It's like, you know, you have this interval shot, okay, where Derek and Annie are sitting and he says कि वो क्या लाइन है उसका कि आप क्या करेंगे, वेट और कर भी क्या सकते हैं, नहीं है ना, इंतजार और कर भी क्या, समथिंग लाइक दैट ही सेज. इट्स अ वेरी सीरियस काइंड ऑफ अ थिंग. एंड इन वन फॉर फन, सुशांत एंड Tahir, you know, they started coming close, they started touching each other and stuff like that. They almost kissed each other, you know, and they said, okay sir. मैंने कहा यार इन लोग से कुछ मतलब ही नहीं है. And when Bevda comes back from the hospital, he gets down from the auto and the whole H4 gang runs to him and he hugs him. In one for fun, the auto comes and stops, they all ran away. They didn't stand there. When Mummy goes for the carom card tournament, you know, for when he's got his finger is injured, and there's a slow motion shot कि अभी तो मचाएगा जाके, you know, मम्मी ऐसा चश्मा ठीक करके जा रहा है. उसका वन फॉर फन में only मम्मी walked and rest of them stayed back, and he बेचारा पूरा चलते चलते कैमरे तक आया, then he realized कि nobody else has walked with him. So that's how one for fun used to happen in Chhichhore. But otherwise, with Amir sir and all, first he asked me, क्यों चाहिए तुमको वन फॉर फन? तो उनको मैंने बोला अच्छा, गुड गुड, एंड ही गॉट एक्साइटेड. और एक जगह तो उल्टा हुआ, मतलब देयर इज अ सीन इन दंगल वेयर ही गोज टू द डीन एंड डीन हैज डिसाइडेड टू रेस्टिकेट दीज गर्ल्स, एंड ही टीयरी आइडली बहुत बेचारा बोलता है कि इनको मत निकालो, ये देखो 100 रुपये का नोटिस ने यहाँ जीता था, रोहतक में ये यहाँ जीता था, इनको तो ब्रॉन्ज जीतने से मतलब है, ऑल दोस थिंग्स ही डज, एंड ही हैड कम प्रिपेयर्ड. इट्स अ लॉन्ग मोनोलॉग, ही इज क्राइंग, लिप्स quivering, everything. After one take, I said, "This is very good, sir. This one, let's move on to the next shot." I said, "अरे नहीं sir, आपको one for one तो करना ही है." And he gave the same take again with same intensity and everything. I was very touched with that, that he kept the pratha intact, which is good.
You have been an exceptional director and showed your merit in screenplay. Do you have any plan of coming on screen as well?
No such plan, man. I'm happy behind the camera.
So we are looking to get such great movies. Like, what's that movie?
I think you can only hope as a creator. You can never be certain. You can only hope and pray that the work which you do kind of resonates with people. And I think I've been lucky so far that the kind of stuff which I have created has resonated with people, and I hope it will happen in the future as well. That's the only thing I can hope.
So, sir, we got to know the director, the writer that you are, and how you got inspired. What about the lyricist in you? Was like the poem that you told us about? Was that an inspiration? Like, how did it start?
See, lyricist, I have written many songs. Not many people know that in Bollywood. वो इसलिए क्योंकि पैसे नहीं थे. देखो, किसी से और लिखवाते तो वो पैसे मांगता था. हमारी फिल्म में गरीब फिल्में थी उस समय, तो चिल्लर पार्टी के सारे गाने मैंने लिखे, except one song. There is a movie which my wife made, her first movie called नील बटे सन्नाटा. उसमें एक गाना है मैथ्स में डब्बा गुल. नाउ दैट वो मैंने जानबूझ के लिखा. मुझे लगा कोई भी लिरिसिस्ट को मैथ्स का डिफिकल्टी शायद समझ में नहीं आएगा, तो मैं ही लिखूंगा वो गाना, बिकॉज आई डोंट थिंक एनीबडी कैन राइट इट, so that's the reason why I wrote it goes something like this: maths mein dabba gul, or dear Newton Einstein, how could you fight it cool? Because this girl is struggling with maths in the whole film. So that's about it. And then one song I wrote in Bhootnath Returns, because paise, again there's some issue of the money. I ऑनेस्टली फील कि अगर आप कोई काम आपसे बेहतर कोई और कर सकता है तो उसको करना चाहिए और आपको नहीं करना चाहिए. एंड आई डोंट रियली थिंक आई एम अ वेरी गुड लिरिसिस्ट. मैं तुकबंदी करता हूँ, मैं ठीक ठाक लिख लेता हूँ, बुरा जब डेफिनेटली नहीं लिखता हूँ, लेकिन मैं उतना अच्छा नहीं लिख पाता हूँ जितना अमिताभ भट्टाचार्य लिखता है. तो मेरी फिल्मों के गाने अमिताभ भट्टाचार्य लिखता है, एंड ही ऑलवेज सरप्राइजेज मी. एंड आई कैन ऑनेस्टली नॉट इवन, मेरे को आप 5 साल भी दे दोगे तो मैं बापू सेहत के लिए तो हानिकारक है नहीं लिख पाऊंगा. दैट अमिताभ भट्टाचार्य डज, दैट काइंड ऑफ अ थिंग. सो अगर वही काम कोई और अच्छा करता है, तो वाई अपनी क्यों चलाए. सो राइटिंग, आई एम वेरी कॉन्फिडेंट. डायरेक्शन, दैट्स हु आई एम बेसिकली. बट इफ somebody else can write better, then somebody else should be writing. My loyalty has to be with the project, not with myself. You have to get best people.
Okay, sir. So moving on to the informal segment, we have a little rapid fire round for you. In this, we'll be speaking a word or a phrase, and you say the first thing that comes into your mind on your end.
Okay.
So I'll go first. Mess ka khana.
Aloo kaddu. Also Young's modulus of chapati.
H4.
H4.
IIT's gender ratio.
Now I think one word I have to, now I think it's getting better. Our times it was very disappointing. Yeah.
Instilingo.
Awesome.
Ragging.
I think it was enlightening. I loved it. I thought it's something I told Kuddu sir also that everyone should be. I won't call it ragging. It was conditioning. It was something which actually was great fun. It kind of got you into that whole hostel mode. It was fantastic.
And your nickname? Your nickname?
I was mostly called Tiwari, but towards third year, fourth year, because Balwadi kar li thi, Tapori was the thing. But it never stuck. Taps or Tapori never stuck. But Tiwari is what people call me, still call me. My batchmates call me Tiwari only.
Answer.
Sorry?
Answer.
Nightmare.
Your CPI?
Yeah, 7.41.
So
But
achieving every
and Sam, I'll tell you. Sorry, am I supposed to go rapid fire only now? So I
No,
won't
sir,
tell
you
you.
can have it.
एंड सेम का हमारा ऐसा होता था कि हम लोग गिव अप भी मार देते थे कभी. तो हमारे सेकेंड ईयर नो फर्स्ट ईयर सेकेंड सेम में इंग्लिश का एंड सेम था और गोविंदा की आंखें पिक्चर आई थी. तो मैं और बोरकर डिसाइड करें एंडसम के लिए मग मारे कि आंखें चलते हैं. हम लोग आंखें देखने गए थे. क्या एंडसम तो होता रहेगा, आंखें थोड़ी ना है ना. सॉरी, पिंक स्लिप द मेडिकल वन यू सेइंग. ओके, मेरा भी एक एक्सपीरियंस है वो पिंक स्लिप का. मैंने भी एक सबमिट करी थी क्योंकि मैंने लेक्चर मिस कर दिया था और सरप्राइज क्विज हो गई थी 10 नंबर की. मैंने कहा यार अब तो मेड सेट लाना पड़ेगा कहाँ से, यू नो यू हैव टू डेली. 10 नंबर बहुत होते हैं भाई. जिनके सीटीज होते हैं, सीटीज मालूम है तुम लोग को क्या होता है. हमारे टाइम पे सीटीज मतलब क्लियरिंग टेंशन. तो एंड सेम. और आप लोग को मालूम है कतले आम और कतले खास क्या होता था? नहीं मालूम है? ठीक है, रिलेटिव रीडिंग अभी भी होती है ना. हाँ फिर ठीक है. सो कतले आम होता है और कतले खास होता है. कतले आम मतलब एंड सेम या मिड सेम में सबकी लग गई तो टेंशन ही नहीं है ना. सब हक के आए आके वहाँ पे तो कोई टेंशन नहीं है. आज कैसा हुआ एंड सेम, अरे कतले आम हो गया, सब खुश है. मेस में जाओगे, एक बंदा बहुत सैड बैठ के ब्रेड पकौड़ा खा रहा है. क्या हुआ? अरे कतले खास हो गया. मतलब भाई बहुत टेंशन है. सबने क्रैक मारा, वो हक के आया वहाँ पे. सर दैट इज कतले खास. सो यू हैव टू बी वेरी वरीड अबाउट कतले खास. कतले आम इज फाइन, इज नो प्रॉब्लम. सो सीटीज होते थे हम लोग को. अरे इसमें बहुत सीटीज है, क्लियरिंग टेंशन. नबड़ अभी भी चलता है यहाँ पे. हाँ, नर्वस ब्रेकडाउन, एनबीडी को नबड़ बोलते थे हमारे टाइम में. बहुत सारे लोग बहुत नबड़ लेते हैं. यहाँ पे क्या चलता है? बीटी क्या होता है? बैड ट्रिप. ओके ओके.
So, the next in the rapid fire round, favorite AC event.
Pass.
Nightlife at Institute.
It was mostly Chinko, which broke down, I think. Chinese corner. It was short form of Chinese corner. Chinko. Chinko was the nightlife. Yes.
We need to learn lot of
Yeah.
GPL.
GPL is, I think, every end sem, every mid sem, we got GPL. You are saying?
Yeah.
GPI or GPL?
GPL.
वो बोल नहीं सकता. हाँ ठीक है, वही है ना. या मतलब GPL तो मतलब लाइफ इज GPL. व्हाट डू यू से? कहीं ना कहीं कोई ना कोई किसी से तो पड़ी जाती है आपको. लाइक व्हाट डू यू से?
on birthday.
हाँ,
Birthday night.
बर्थडे नाइट इज नाउ और दैट टाइम?
Now it is. It happened at previous night of birthday.
Like GPL is more prominent these days when you see like.
Oh, we used to call that bumps. Yes, इसका बर्थडे बम्प. मुझे लगा आप फिलोसॉफिकली बात कर रहे हो GPL के बारे में. तो वो मैं जिंदगी में चला गया है ना, वो सबको पड़ती है. बट या बम्प्स.
That is GPL now.
हाँ ओके.
GPL. Yeah. Birthday bombs is now GPL.
ओके ओके.
And that
सॉरी.
disciplinary action.
Oh, I never had any incident with anyone around my time, so I think it was non-existent. We were very cool. इतने हरामी थे नहीं हम लोग. थे बट आई थिंक इस लेवल तक नहीं गए. But actually our seniors used to come and ask us, you know, that they were, and we did the same thing later on, ki, are you feeling tense? Do you want to go to your room? And anybody who said I want to go to my room, they sent it. There was no, there was nothing ever physical. It was good fun. In fact, it was so funny. Our time, the introduction, we used to call it introduction. I hate to call it ragging because ragging is a very abused kind of word. You know, our introduction was so fascinating that we had a process called as you have to flush your smile, because I used to find it funny, and most of the times in one session I would have flushed my smile some 10 to 15 times. एक बार फ्लश करने में मैं 10 बार स्माइल कर देता था, इट इज़ लाइक दैट. तो एवरीथिंग वाज रियली गुड फन, and there was an entire procedure of flushing your smile, which was like crazy. I will not tell, he's sitting there, so I'll tell it later. But it was quite crazy. Yeah.
Okay, sir. So, like, you come to IIT. You said that you keep coming to IIT Bombay, right? So,
Yeah, I have a very strange connection. I can't call it strange connection. 25 साल हो गए, but फिर भी वो एक nostalgia है. I think I can't get IIT out of my life for sure. In the end, they say that when life flashes in front of your eyes, I'll have many of these pictures of IIT going through my head for sure. That's how much IIT means to me. I do keep on coming back. And I want to tell you guys, when you enter the campus, you do not realize, that what this campus is going to do to you. And we came here, we lived 4 years. If only somebody had told कि ये 4 साल आपकी ज़िंदगी के सबसे खूबसूरत साल होंगे, maybe we would have lived it even more. All I'm saying is that whoever has how many number of years remaining in the campus, maximize it. You will this life, this carefreeness, and this thing is never. Once you're out of the campus, it's gonna be a different race. This freedom, this happiness, this bonding, ये feeling शायद life में दोबारा नहीं आएगी. You'll have a different kind of feelings. Please make the maximum out of it. Live it to the most.
So all through these years, what changes have you noticed in the campus, and how do you think that has changed, as compared to your time?
I noticed a lot during my shoot at Chhichhore, and I somehow felt sad. I thought human interaction has become very less, and people are more into gadgets now, and I think technology is to be blamed. A lot. It's not just the campus, it is in relationships also. I think somewhere tablets have seeped in, and the phones have seeped in, and the games have seeped in, and OTTs have seeped in. So we are not spending quality time with our near and dear ones. We are not spending quality time with our friends. So I noticed that in my hostel. When I came to hostel 4, I saw that there was very little enthusiasm about the GC. Only the roomies were talking to each other. There was bonding between the two roomies, but apart from that, there was no wing culture. There was no, there was nothing which was heartening about it. हम लोग तो क्या थे ना, लुक्के थे हम. तो हम लोग को कुछ करने को नहीं था, तो हम लोग बैठ के कैट सेशन होता था. 2-2 बजे तक गप्पे मार रहे हो आप बैठ के. थोड़ी पढ़ाई कर ली, किसी के साथ कीड़ा कर लिया. I don't know whether that's happening now or not. So I somehow feel that there is a great power in human interaction. ठीक है, टेक्नोलॉजी हमारी मजबूरी है, you have to be with it, but I think never underestimate the power of human interaction. And I really like that you guys have found time, to come here, sit. This is what I call, this is something which is going to be valuable. It was versus watching something and staying on your mobile phone, and so that is something which I think I find it missing. I see less bonding. I see less enthusiasm for extracurricular activities. I think everybody is too caught.
COVID made us do that.
COVID was very unfortunate. I think all of us have gone through a very tough time. All of us. I don't think anybody would have been spared.
So with time, I guess it will improve.
Yes, I just, campus life has to be exciting, man. Campus life can't be phones. It should not be phones. It should be MCBC. यार S3 को S3 जाके गाली नहीं दिया तो क्या किया यार. It's like कि वर्सेस फेसबुक पेज पे लिख दिया S3 BK. फेसबुक पेज डिफेंस कर रहे नहीं यार, जाके उनको भिगा के आओ यार. ट्विटर पे गाली दी तो क्या गाली दी, मुंह पे गाली दो ना जाके. It's like that.
So, any other general advice that you would like to give to the audience present here? about Insta life or how they can improve it?
No, I think I talk to Kundu sir a lot. I think Institute is doing some fantastic stuff to keep students safe, happy, and a lot of initiatives which keep on happening, which a lot of things you guys also don't get to know, which Institute keeps on doing. I think Institute is doing great stuff. What I think what you guys need to do yourself is your own initiative, which will come from your own side. Only one thing I will tell you guys, and this is the only Chotu's advice I'll tell you guys: कि never worry about your CPI. Never worry about it. I've seen my batchmates with very low CPI doing very well in life, so I don't think you should. It's all right. Life will all pan out very good. You are passing out of IIT Bombay. Nothing to worry. It's all right. Yeah.
Any three movies you want us to watch?
Any three movies?
Yeah, that will change your life or something, some classics or something.
Yes, I have all-time three favorites, which I can tell you, and you guys would have seen it any which ways. But Life is Beautiful. I don't know whether you guys have seen it or not. Goodwill Hunting. Okay, and Miracle in Cell Number 7. Please watch these. These are all like life-changing. And Scent of a Woman, if you guys want to watch, please. Outstanding. But Goodwill Hunting, Life is Beautiful, Miracle in Cell Number 7, Scent of a Woman, all-time favorites. Like great stuff. And there are far too many movies to, I can tell you hundreds of them. But watch Goodwill Hunting for sure, if you guys have not watched it. Matt Damon and Robin Williams. It did change my life. It did. Yeah.
It was a really inspiring session. With this, we would like to end it. Thank you very much, sir. You were fabulous, and I hope that we all enjoyed it.
I loved every moment of it. Thank you all. Thank you for coming. Sunday ka sham. It's not easy to get out of your room, but thank you so much to come. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much.